Today, we are going to talk about the benefit of liberation, right? Because we studied the four thoughts that turn our mind away from samsara. So now it is important to think about the benefit of liberation. So the meaning of liberation is, I like this, one of Nagarjuna's students explained the liberation very beautifully. He said that the liberation is not something that is given to you as a gift from someone, and the seed of liberation is not something that is owned by someone else. So then, what is liberation? He said it is completely realizing our true nature. So that is the definition or the characteristic of liberation, you know. It's very nice. Maybe you know what is meaning of liberation, but liberation is, again, completely realizing our true nature, which means completely diminish or purify our negative emotions, right? That's what we call liberation. So last week we talked about the samsara, the defects of samsara. So the difference between liberation and samsara depends how we train our mind. If we turn our mind inwardly, we will eventually attain liberation. But if we only turn our mind outwardly, they called, we will never attain liberation, because we accumulate negative karma every single day. So we will never attain liberation. And in order to realize the liberation, we need to use mind training to look inside, to recognize the true nature of our mind, or the true nature of the universe, or whatever. So that method is we call secret dharma, you know. And it is something extremely precious and difficult to find, because it is the sort of cause leading us to, the liberation, this secret dharma. I will tell you how we start our path according to Buddhism and attain liberation, because this is very important, and this is very helpful if you are a beginner. So the causes of attain liberation start with making our mind contemplating the four thoughts that change the mind as the foundation. We all know that the four thoughts, right? We just talked. Precious human life, impermanence of life, the cause and karma, the cause and effect, then the samsara and liberation. That's what we called four thoughts that change our mind. This is the foundation. This is how we start. Because think about this is amazing practice, First, we need to understand, for instance, our life, right? And how important it is, how fortunate we are. We have this precious human life. That's the first thought that changes our mind. We need to understand our life. And then, our life is also impermanent. It will end at any time. We don't know what will happen, in the future. So that's we call impermanence of life, the second thought that change our mind. But something happened to our life, it not just disappear, according to Buddhism. We have to follow our karma, either good karma or bad karma. So that's we have to understand the cause and karma. That's third practice, the outer preliminary, right? If bad karma, we need we have to diminish our negative karma. And in order to now diminish our negative karma, we need to understand defects of samsara and benefit of liberation, So this we call our preliminary. Buddhist point of view, if we accumulated negative karma, then what they say, we will return to samsara again, if you believe. If we accumulated positive karma, practice and recognize the true nature, then we will attain liberation. So that's we call samsara and liberation. So these practices allow all our mind and also our actions to become a dharma, which is the cause of the enlightenment or the liberation and cause of happiness, all beings. So, without the dharma, our life is, no essence. It's really important. Both our life is important, also understand the essence of our life. Essence of our life is compassion, love and kindness, all these things. This we call dharma, secret dharma. So we, the negative, that they call negative. I don't know, you like negative. These emotions, the karma, that's the causes, problem. So we have to, this today I just let you know that how we start. Most people really don't know. They're looking for a path, but they don't know how, So that's why very important, first, we practice these, 4 thoughts. And we also undertaking all the practice start from the taking of the, refuge practice, renunciation. Last Sunday we talked about, right? And then bodhicitta, which are the foundation of all Buddhist paths. Without this, we can't practice Buddhism. And then we will continually practice these 5 thoughts that change our mind. We have 2 sort of different preliminaries, right? The first we talk 4 thoughts that change mind is we call outer preliminaries. And then we have 5 thoughts that change our mind. That's, we call the inner preliminary. So through this practice, we will then reach our destination, which is, the liberation. Today, the topic is the liberation. So we are very, I think, fortunate because we have these amazing teachings, and we can practice if we want. And we have all the sort of positive these circumstances and good fortune of actually being able to practice all these teachings. So these are the causes of attain liberation, and these are also essence of our life. So we have to understand. And liberation, it is important to understand that liberation is not like heaven, or somewhere we can go when we die. I mean, most Tibetans believe that, but I just to give you the Nagarjuna students the explanation of liberation, right? So it is the liberation is the base of all existence, including us. So this is. We call sometimes Dharmakaya, right? Sometimes Dharmakaya, sometimes liberation, same. So it stands for the fundamental truth of emptiness, the experience of reality or liberation. So it is the essence of the universe, and it is also, remember in the Hatra, beyond existence or non-existence. So that is, that is in general explanation of liberation. So when we talk about samsara and liberation, it will be very good if we study about the Four Noble Truths, because the Four Noble Truths are the characteristics and cause of samsara and liberation. First two Noble Truths are the characteristic and cause of samsara. Third and fourth Noble Truths, the characteristic of liberation and cause of liberation. So these are very important. You need to know this is the sort of structure or order or step. How we practice. So first we have to practice the outer preliminaries, and with that, very important, we need to study a little bit about Four Noble Truths, with the practice for thoughts that change mind. Do you understand what I'm saying? After that, we are ready to practice the inner preliminaries, which is first we have to take a refuge vow, right? And in order to take refuge vow, it is very important to pay attention to our mind of devotion and faith. Because devotion and faith to the three jewels, devotion and faith to the lineage is the path of liberation, and this, devotion is not just a blind of faith, because it arises through our study of the Four Noble Truths. That's why I say when you practice the four thoughts that change mind, with that you have to study the Four Noble Truths. The Four Noble Truths is the essence of Buddha's teaching. So that gives you more sort of, everything, about Buddhism. You will understand if you study about Four Noble Truths. Then the devotion and faith, comes from this trust. You believe Buddhism, you trust. And then this trust comes from our confidence, and certainty. And all of this come from our wisdom mind, because of the teachings of Buddha, which is the Four Noble Truths. We have so many different teachings in Buddhism, but all includes Four Noble Truths. So Buddha, if you study these Four Noble Truths, we are using our wisdom mind. Then Buddha said that people should examine his teachings. Like a merchant who want to purchase the genuine gold. You have to investigate, right? Because we can't sort of accept the teachings and practice in them with blind faith. Do you understand? With blind devotion means without understand the essence, So in order to practice these teachings, we need a good connection, good connection. And think about the devotion and faith are something that we need to connect with our mind, and there arise naturally with the understand, for instance, of the Four Noble Truths. And also there arises from, the power of genuine experience of our practice, Then, there will be sort of real sense of connecting with our mind, and we can feel our own sort of heart connection. So that is most important part of our whole journey, Buddhism, if you take Buddhist path, this very long journey, take years and years and years and years, So the foundation is very important. If you misunderstand and mistaken, fundamentally, there you whole journey wrong, So that's why, we should continue sort of try to develop our faith and devotion further. Because our own sort of personal connection with the lineage and with these three jewels, Buddha, Dharma, becomes really sort of powerful, and it is important for our journey to the liberation. We should try to develop our faith and devotion further, no matter how much or what kind of emotions arises. We develop our faith and devotion, a sort of clear intellectual understanding of the Four Noble Truths, or these four thoughts that change your mind, and the view of also this, emptiness and the nature of mind through our study, contemplation and meditation practice, So these preliminaries, outer preliminary, inner preliminaries, is more profound than the actual practice, But if we, think about, for instance, if you, they're not the first you practice the outer preliminaries, it's not really necessarily to have devotion and a faith. You just need to understand about your life, and then impermanence, the karma causing what do you call it, the karma. That's not necessary. It's very easily understand, all this through your investigate, or it's no need really devotion and a faith. But when you practice, the inner preliminaries, you have to develop your devotion and faith, because the preliminary practice, the inner preliminary, inner preliminary practice. If we don't have sort of faith and devotion, then it doesn't make sense, when we are going to practice this inner preliminaries, because we have the first one is the taking refuge, and then we practice refuge. We visualize the refuge tree. There are all lots of Buddhas and the deities and even these Dharma protectors. But if you don't have faith and devotion, there is no connection between us. Then if we don't have faith and devotion, then just you just visualize these trees and Buddhas, but you just make something up, like there is no real connection. There is no real connection. There is no blessings. I mean, so that's why when you practice inner preliminary, you have to think about your devotion and faith. This is very important, and that devotion, if you study Four Noble Truths, you will understand, then Buddha is a special person who, just an ordinary person like us, but he, practiced and he discovered this profound Dharma, and then through that he liberated. And I trust him, I believe him because of his teachings. Makes sense for noble truth like that. So that's what we call devotion, right? That's what we call faith. Through your reason, through your research, investigate, questions, all this, you take this process, and then you understand about Buddha, understand about his teachings. Then, we have connection. I mean, then, we are ready to engage in the preliminary practice and receiving also pointing out instructions, we called, right? And we fully sort of discover the nature of our mind, which is the achievement of liberation, So people practice the high level these teachings, but fundamentally, actually, I sometimes have a doubt that, how much they have a devotion and faith. If they don't have that, no matter you practice dzogchen or you practice emptiness, whatever, nothing. So very important. Of course, the receiving the pointing out instruction, of course, need devotion and faith. But when you start the inner preliminaries, you need devotion and faith. Honestly, Buddhism also, of course, people say different ways, but I believe that the faith and devotion is the foundation, but that devotion and the belief is, come from, not blind faith and devotion. Very important, right? So once you have this devotion, faith, your mind and your practice very stable. Can't change. Can't change any, by any circumstances. So very, very important. So therefore, if we think about like this process, then the liberation is depend upon our faith and devotion to the teachings of Buddha and to the power of the blessings of the lineage. We are practicing, right? So these instructions come from our lineages. Just goes back to the Buddha. So there's no broken. So if we have a strong connection with our lineage, then definitely these instructions really, really powerful. If you are not connect with the lineage, then there is no, connection. I mean, then it's all still good. Still good. Nothing bad, but if you're really looking for a sort of pure and powerful the instruction and path, then we need this kind of foundations. Then I think it will work. So each individual practitioner needs to take this process and follow the detailed instructions and method of the path in order to attain liberation. It is impossible to sort of jump there without this process, this instructions. Even though people say that I just want to be there, I mean it's difficult to take this whole journey, and I don't want to think about the preparations or this process. But I personally, I don't think it doesn't work that way, because we are not like Mullah and Marba, like we are not like that per people. I mean, just most people are very ordinary, and we need sort of very good foundation. I mean, people like to hear Dzogchen and this emptiness, the union of appearance and emptiness, and beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But that's there, You're here. There's no connection, So I think we need the connection. So I think it's impossible without foundation to recognize the true nature. Impossible, according to Buddhism. I mean, I'm not sort of discourage you and your practice, but it's very important to understand how to take the path, and attain liberation. I mean, today we're talking about the liberation, Liberation is not easy, Definitely not easy. We can develop the compassion, bodhicitta, love, mindfulness, all these wonderful qualities we can actually easily sort of develop, but that doesn't mean you liberate it. I mean, so these are the foundation. So, very important, I think. But you don't have to believe my teaching, but this is my own sort of experience, how it's important. That's why this Buddhist, early, the Kardambas or the masters, they give us these two preliminaries. It really makes sense, You can't practice without their instructions. Sometimes people say, oh, this is modern time, 21st century. We have to sort of teach differently because people are different. I never, ever don't believe that. You don't need to change Buddha's teaching and the process, no matter who you are human being. You understand, and I think we should really sort of practice genuinely and really think about our life and what is benefit, what is not, Very, very, very important. Samsara and liberation. Samsara, everything is, arises because of the coming together, right, of these different things. That's what we call samsara, or we call it sometimes interdependent origination. So if we realize if we analyze that the samsara or the interdependent origination of the relative world, we will see that it is empty by nature, right? That's what we call liberation. Everything is, coming together, different things, cause and condition. That's what we call samsara, easily. And then you look deeply, investigate, then you will see that everything is empty by nature. That's what we call liberation. So interdependent origination means, for example, good and bad. Think about that. Good doesn't exist without bad. Bad doesn't exist without good. So therefore, there is no inherent quality that makes something fundamentally good, makes something fundamentally bad. Therefore, we call it interdependent. the nature of samsara is not samsara, right? Because that nature is totally free from all fabrications, free from all problems. Therefore, the nature of samsara is the nature of liberation, you know. So we don't see sort of two separate things when we look at these two states from the Dzogchen point of view. We see that the nature of our disturbing emotions are inseparable from our wisdom, right? The whole our experience of the samsaric suffering is just expression of this ground, this liberation. So that's why the great master, there's nothing to feel bad about samsaric experience, because samsara itself is in the state of liberation, right? They understand that. But we, the ordinary people, perceive the negative emotions just as negative emotions, because we don't have a method for looking at them clearly and understanding. We see emotions as a sort of disturbing, and we experience their energy as a destructive. That's why we call it negative, right? But the nature of the emotion is nature of wisdom. So so that this we the negative disturbance, negative emotion, particular view is the best on ego's the what do you call it, perception of our emotions. But if we look at our emotions carefully, then they appear as expression of nature wisdom. That's what we call liberation. Then we no longer see emotion as ordinary emotion. But the problem is that we usually don't recognize this sort of experientially and familiarize it all the time. I think that's the problem. That's why we have to meditate, right? That's why we have to meditate. Meditation is not meditating on something. Rather, it is familiarizing ourselves with the nature mind. Do you remember when Milarepa said that meditation is not meditating on anything? Meditation is familiarization. Sometimes what do you call the habituation, or getting accustomed to. So through the practice of the meditation, then the mind can also accumulate the causes for its own liberation. Our own, the Buddha nature is we call liberation. Liberation is always within us, not over there or somewhere else, If you recognize that no matter what circumstance, where you live, you are like a Buddha, Bodhisattva. So, liberation, understand liberation? In your language, liberation is you something, successful, then you're liberated, something. But in Buddhism, it's not. Liberation is, I don't know, it's really difficult. We should not actually think about liberation. We should think about, I think it's impossible liberated in our lifetime, this lifetime. But, we should really develop our the foundations, compassion, love, bodhicitta, devotion, faith, then fine. Then you're just you are on the right path. Eventually, you will see the liberation, right? Sometimes think about liberation. It's difficult, I mean, it's so long. It's we're not there yet. So we need to think about the foundations first, So now, do you understand the outer preliminaries? Yeah. Do you think it's important to understand? I mean, if you're not Buddhist or Buddhist, doesn't matter. Do you think that works for both Buddhist and non-Buddhist, these four thoughts? Yeah, that's why I think when we talk about four thoughts that change, we're not talking about belief in devotion and faith, right? Yeah? That's not good for Buddhist. You have to believe. You have to, But once you're done, the four thoughts that change your mind. Change your mind, right? Not just to understand intellectually. Change your mind. You have to change your mind through think about your life, think about impermanence, think about cause and karma, think about samsara liberation. Change your mind. Once change your mind, you're ready to practice inner preliminaries now. So then, first, taking refuge, which is the foundation of all Buddhist paths. Okay? Second, develop bodhicitta, right? The root of the great vehicle, the Mahayana, and the foundation of the liberation. Liberation, without bodhicitta mind, no liberation, for sure, according to Buddhism. That's why, very important, develop our great compassion. And then third, meditation on the sort of teacher is a Vajrasattva, right? To purify all our obscurations. Very important, right? And then we have offering mandala to accumulate merit and wisdom. And then finally, the fifth, Guru Yoga, ultimate way to arouse the wisdom of realization. So that's what we call inner preliminaries. People practice these inner preliminaries first, then people think of the outer preliminaries, four thoughts, but that's a little bit kind of wrong, You can, but, first I think very important to think about four thoughts, the outer preliminaries, then practice inner preliminaries, then you go next, then like that. You can't really jump, So it's very important, take the process, very, very important. So now, today, meditation, and I would like to do the purification meditation today, okay? It's in general, not specific, it's general. So usually they're both the positive, we talk about positive, liberation, negative, kind of samsara, This our, and also if you look at your mind, your life, there are positive, negative, On the one hand, we have love, compassion, wisdom, and joy, all this, right? But on the other hand, we have anger, selfish, this laziness, jealous, all this. So all good, positive, these thoughts, all these are just mental experience, and they are coming and going all the time, you know. So when we recognize this and develop a correct view of the reality, our negativities gradually sort of disappear or diminish. We can diminish. And then our wisdom develops. Our sort of good feelings grow, and our personality gradually transforms. And continually we do this. Continually, at the end of this path is we call liberation. So we can free sort of ourselves from negative energies. We can. Nobody can, but we can. That's why we, individual has, the responsibility. So actually, according to Buddhism, there are many methods how to do this. But one way of doing this is through the process of purification. Which means changing sort of our way of thinking and cultivate more positive thoughts. Letting go of the problems and mistakes, seeing them as a sort of temporary obscurations, not as in sort of intrinsic part of our nature, So, it helps us to get in touch with, and develop our sort of natural good energy. So now meditation, that's in general, very important practice, purification. Therefore, we have Vajrasattva practice, but today I'm not going to use the visualizations, Vajrasattva, but first I want you really comfortable and relaxed, that's the foundation, very important. And then, take a, deep breath, a few times, settle our mind or for sort of, for a minute. Sometimes they say, bring your mind back in your body. Pater Rinpoche sometimes say, make sure that your mind in your body. And then after that, once you're relaxed, and then we, correct, your motivation. A little bit think about bodhicitta. And then turn our attention to our breath. And breathe very normally. And when we breathe out, imagine that all our negative energies and negative emotions leave our body and our mind with the breath. When we breathe out, visualize this energy sort of as a black smoke, and send it out into space, and sort of it disappear completely. And then we should feel confident that we have sort of freed ourselves from negativity, That is the first step, when you breathe out with your visualization, how you purify our negativities, the negative energies, emotions, thoughts, whatever. And then when we breathe in, again imagine that all the positive energy in the universe, in this world, enters our body and mind, again with the breath, and also in the form of pure and radiant white light, something like that. If you don't like to think about the color, that's fine. Just visualize this energy, good energy, and all the positive energy flow into every part of our body and mind, and making us sort of really relaxed and sort of blissful. So we should concentrate on this practice, visualization and experience, right? First you visualize, then you experience. Breathing out the black smoke of our problem, breathing in the white light of a good energy. That's in general we call this taking and giving, not specific, but in general meditation, good for everybody. If you're not Buddhist, you can do this. If you're Buddhist, you can do this. So this is we called also meditation purification. So this you should do this few minutes, okay?